In our first story, residents of Asikrom community near Mpraeso in the Kwu South district of the Eastern region, they are worried about the sudden death of 2 persons recently due to the lack of health facility in the area and good roads network in the community.
Well, according to the residents, sick people and pregnant women have to be transported on a 10-mile journey by bicycle or foot to the nearest health facility, redraw and Tafo Government Hospital.
Asikrom is predominantly a farming community with a resident population of 1,000. Lack of a health facility and good roads for many years had been a major challenge confronting the people here. Residents are compelled to travel 10 miles on either bicycles or foot to redraw and Tafo government hospitals to access health care. Some residents who spoke to Joy News said the absence of health facility has compounded their woes as their lives are in danger. According to residents, the community does not have electricity and other social amenities which affect their living standards. They appealed to the government to, as a matter of urgency, extend the rural electrification project to the community. The chief of Asakraka, Nana Sumwamri Kunyampon III, appealed to the regional minister to take a serious look at the deplorable roads in the area and find a lasting solution to them. Meanwhile, a new chips compound, Gary Processing Center, a 3-classroom block with an office and a new bridge have been commissioned by the Eastern Regional Minister. The Eastern Regional Minister in Tribuisi Akusetre commended the DCE, Joseph Omari Sasu, and Kwu South District Assembly for executing government-funded projects on time.
And the Ghana Medical Association says government's consistent withdrawal of offers made to striking doctors at the negotiation table is not helping matters.
The president of the GMA, Dr. Kwabena Opoku-Edusei, says it is too much mistrust, or there is too much mistrust on the side of government. He cautions the media to be careful about information they put out because that has been making rounds in the media about proposals made by governments. He says are untruths. In an exclusive interview with Jifa Bampo, Dr. Opoku-Edusei also explained what the next phase of the ongoing strike will entail.
The next move is that we are still negotiating and meeting government. This week we met, I think, 3 times. Today we may meet government again. We met the Council of the Ghana Health Service this week. We met Parliament early this week, Parliament Committee on Health, and we might meet them again this afternoon. What is happening is that government gives office, and then the next meeting government withdraws it.
Okay, let me take you on that point. You've made one offer. Was that proposal rejected?
What offer?
Well, in terms of what you tabled initially, 20% of allowances, the fuel request, the payment of professional training, and also for the car waiver.
What we must understand is that if you make a proposal and somebody makes counter proposal, that I don't mean that you've come into agreement. What I was trying to say is that the ones that probably we had agreed indirectly had been withdrawn. And what we are saying is that if you read the newspaper, if you read the internet on the net, it tells other things that have not even been discussed. That government has paid us 50% professional allowance, for example. More government says 0. Don't go there, no go area. Accommodation, can't you say that all doctors have been paid 20%? It's a misinformation, it's a lie.
So there's nothing from the government side as of now?
The little movement that we can say is on fuel. We sent a proposal, our government sent a proposal, we have not agreed yet. We also sent another counter proposal on that. So we have not agreed yet. What we are trying to say is that we wanted to bring all the various agreements which were in MOUs and administrative instructions together at one place. For example, you talk about postgraduate education. Postgraduate education is being done by government anyway. We wanted government to show more commitment, the ones that they've not been paying. You talk about on-call duty facilitation allowance. Government makes it appear that we requested for 20, they give us 10. No, we are already being paid 10% anyway. So it's not an agreement. It's something which is there, which government has reaffirmed that you want to maintain the status quo, and that is not negotiation.
Okay, so this week, generally, what are you hoping to achieve, knowing fully well that you and your colleagues are also not in the hospitals and many Ghanaians will be suffering for it?
What we need to achieve is that probably by the end of the day, we must see our way clear. And if at the end of the day, we are able to get something, come to agreement, we are Ghanaians, we are human beings, we look at it. But what I will ask the media to do is that they must always cross-check the information. All these insults and
personal attacks
will never move us. It will not solve any problem. We don't like the position of government. There's so much mistrust where documents that are supposed to be in the boardrooms, the meeting rooms, are leaked, and not even just leaked. They are leaked, and the figures in there are just changed to make doctors look too bad that government had offered you this. Why are you still at home? What you are saying is that most of the things that you hear are just misinformation.
And there have been an increase in the number of teenage pregnancy cases in the Sisala East District of the Upper East region.
Well, out of a total of 1,088 pregnancy cases recorded in the district from January to June this year, 143 of them are girls and are between the ages of 13 and 19. The situation paints a gloomy picture for the districts, as in the following interview with the disease control officer for the districts.
Out of the total number of women that were registered as pregnant women, 12% of them were actually within the teenage age group, that is from 13 to 19 years. And this 12% is a very huge number, looking at the number of teenagers that are getting pregnant. Most of them are not well developed enough to cater for the child or the unborn baby and themselves. And you can imagine the stress that this child will go through or girl will go through for taking care of a baby. A child taking care of a baby, in fact, it is going to be a very serious health problem. We are beginning to see these trends. It will lead to a very serious maternal problem that we as a Ghana Health Service cannot handle it alone. Most of these girls are in school and they need to be counseled properly for them to know that they need to find a way of either keeping themselves away from sex or maybe finding a way of handling it so that they don't get pregnant within this age group. And that is why Ghana Health Service has also come up with family planning services. If the girl at this age thinks that she cannot do away with sex, then there is the possibility of counseling this person and see if that child can be put on family planning for her to protect herself in order not to get pregnant at this tender age.
Psychologist and anti-domestic violence campaigner Adolf Ukubekwe, meanwhile, says Ghana is failing its children.
Well, his comments come on the heels of a startling DOSU 2014 report revelation that 1,206 girls were defiled and 335 women were raped in 2014 alone. Just last week, Joy News told the sad stories of two minors, one defiled by her father since she was 12 years and the other a 14-year-old defiled by a man she worked for. Adolf Bekoin says Ghana is retrogressing with regards to child protection and wondered why a topic like pedophilia is not part of national discourse.
I mean, we can talk about only one shelter for children of sexual abuse, that is the Ark Foundation shelter. What else? Even in terms of medical support, where do we get it?
Ghana has failed.
Well, absolutely, we have failed, and we have failed our children. We are failing them, and it is a very gloomy picture, and we must paint it as it is, so that we wake up from our slumber. We cannot just allow our children to go through this, and we need to double our steps. We need to double our steps by way of investing in child protection. A lot of the child protection talks remain theoretical. But on the ground, we get a talk on the ground when you have power, power deciding, I want to do this. Now, civil society come in to help. But when it becomes the central work of civil society, it means.
And that's what is happening.
The
work is on
so
you
it is
guys.
an anomaly. It's an anomaly. Government or the state, let me use the state, protects its citizens. And so when you have your citizens going through harrowing experience year after year, then the center is not holding. And to make the center hold, we must see real delivery, not mere talk. Children need protection, and it is now. Here again, we are talking about policies, we are talking about protocols, we are talking about all these things. And for God knows how long, still, there is nothing on the ground to help children. So the system seriously problematic. It's seriously problematic, and as a society, we must invest time, energy, resources, and power decides. I'm focusing on power because it is power that decides how national resources must be apportioned. And so when power decides that we need to take action here, action will be taken. It is power that decides and brings everyone else on board. But where power is not deciding, then nothing happens. Children, protection for children. For me, we've gone back. Now, if you look at the child protection and what is on the ground for children, no one even speaks for children so much. Because even their parents are not, as they say in local parlance, are not singing top. And as everybody is surviving, looking for survivor, and we are discounting the role of children, forgetting that the future that we are aggressively pursuing don't belong to us, but belongs to these children.
We have to turn our attention to energy. And the managers of the T2 thermal plant in Takoradi in the Western region, they've justified a decision not to take supplies from the Trouble Gas Processing Plant.
Well, Joy Business last Friday reported that the Takoradi International Company has turned down a request by Tallow to supply natural gas to the plant. But Managing Director of TICO, Nanos Osafo says they were forced to do so because it is difficult to move to gas while running on crude oil. The Volta River Authority currently provides fuel to power the plants. According to some energy experts, the decision not to take the gas could affect crude oil production on the Jubilee field. Tallow oil may also be forced to flare the gas. TICO's decision to use crude could also possibly increase its input cost, a development that might also see a push in utility tariffs.
I will be interested how it goes as far as this very subject is concerned. And we know that many of you have been getting some of the lights on in your neighborhoods or communities. And so I guess if you're not apprehensive, you should be happy, I guess. But the state of how you keep your food is also important. And some of you, instead of using raw sugar, tend to use a lot more honey.
And have you ever wondered what is contained in that jar of honey sitting right there in your kitchen? And pure honey has no added preservatives. It's also got no flavoring nor coloring, yet it is sweet and often can last a lot of years. And the process of bees making honey is as beautiful as the end product. And in the following report, well, my colleague Mahmoud Muruddin explores the unique benefits of honey and sadly why beekeepers do not get value for their farm produce.
An undiluted bottle of honey is an embodiment of health as intended by nature.
And white sugar. Honey also has a little fiber that we know has a lot of benefits in terms of controlling blood cholesterol and helping to maintain or reduce weight, and also prevent other conditions like constipation. There are other minerals too that honey comes along with. Compared with the brown sugar and the granulated sugar again.
The honey making process begins from the flower nectar, which is collected by bees, naturally broken down into simple sugars and stored in honeycombs.
They convert the excess nectar into honey and store in their hives for seasons that there will not be flower. So the honey really is food that the bees themselves are stored for themselves.
Honey has a long history of human consumption and plays a significant role in religion. But with the immense nutritional values of honey, many beekeepers are not getting value for the produce we so cherish. Each of the over 50 beekeepers here at Diadaso near Sampa in the Brong Ahafo region produce over 50 gallons of honey every harvesting season.
keep it in our houses. When we are fortunate and somebody comes for some, then we sell it. We don't get market.
But there's no ready market for pure honey.
They actually produce pure honey, but the marketing is a problem.
On many occasions, these farmers run at a loss selling their produce at a cheaper price.
When somebody comes, he can buy it at the price he wants. So we run at a loss.
The beekeepers want partnerships with organizations to better market their produce.
Honey, on the subject of bees and how they tend to get you the raw material honey as we would always want it.
Yeah.
It's nice though, honey.
It is, but it's difficult. I can use it with lime and warm water, or let me just say hot water, because I get cold a lot. But I don't know if I can substitute it when I'm doing any other thing.
I guess it's got to do with the taste, and you just have to get used to.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, though, we're told by nutritionists consistently that raw sugar is not the best for our health.
Yeah.
And so I guess we all have to make up some mind about it. The only time I use honey, though, is when I have cough. Yeah, I use it with a lot of ginger.
Even though it's healthier than the white sugar that we use, and we produce it in our own country as well.
Yeah.
Why don't we all change and shift to honey?
Right, I'll see how it goes. The next time I get cold, I'll start from there. But that'll be it for the news, please. If you want to get a lot more interactive with us, we always have the Facebook platform for you. So you just get to the page Joy News on TV, and also a connected handle on Twitter, Joy News on TV. Then we have a YouTube page, or let's say a YouTube channel for you to always get communicative on. Many of the times we tend to upload a lot more of the segments that we do, the discussions, etc., so that when you have the extra time in the office or in the house or on your phone, you can always watch.
Yeah. All right. So stay with us when we come back. We're taking you around the news portals. We'll see what is trending, what others are also reporting. You're watching the AM show. Please do stay.
We'll be right back.